Right, we're going to, because it's our last session of this year, we're going to do a bit of a review. You've heard us talking about these a lot, the Pike Pro floats that we've switched over to. I switched over to them last winter and I've used them for a couple of seasons. Bob's has switched over to them this winter, and been using them as well. And I have to say, with all the years of piking I've been doing, they're by far the best floats we've come across. The big problem you'll have with normal floats is that especially right when we fish the big rivers, you're in 30 foot of water, you've got a big current going through, so we'll use sometimes up to like 7-ounce leads to hold bottom. And the problem with that is that there's a tendency when you're casting at a distance that, and you'll hear this a lot of the time when you're casting, that the lead hits the float. Now what I've had in the past is with your normal style of sort of clear plastic float is that the lead basically at that sort of size and that distance and sort of hitting the water just obliterates the float, and all you need is a crack in it, they fill it with water, they're buggered. Now these Pike Pro floats, as I say, we switched to, and initially I switched over to the medium one. Now that's a good float if you say on a still water or a canal or whatever, but the problem I found quite quickly on the rivers when you've got a bit of a tow going through, especially with big weight and deep water, they just won't hold surface. So if you're in a bit of current, then the large one that they do is by far the better one to go for. I basically have had 2 of these on my pike rigs all winter. I haven't changed the floats. I fish stills, canals, 30 foot deep, fast flowing rivers, the lot, and they've been brilliant. And they're just a straightforward line through float, but they're just solid. They're not that sort of cheap plastic. I won't go so far as to say you could run your car over them and they'd be okay, but they do take some abuse. And on numerous occasions I've been casting at a distance, I've heard the lead hit the float, not a mark on it, good solid thing. And as I say, I've just had the same float on all year. If you're doing still waters, that's good. They also do a small little bobber float, and then they also do some subsurface floats, so that basically when they pick up the bait, it comes to the surface rather than going on it. And they also do the pencil floats, but I just like the bigger floats because we tend to fish with big tackle on big waters. They're just more visible and better to sort of do what we do with. And as I say, I haven't needed to change all winter with that. Big one, that's the large, that's the medium. Then as I say, they do the bobber and the smaller stuff. It's brilliant. It's just a standard line through float. Good visibility, solid, highly recommend them. We don't get any promotion from Pike Pro or anything like that, and it just happens to be that that's what they are, but they're good. But I also use Pike Pro on the traces as well. Right, so what we're going to do is when we do our reviews, we're going to give them a score out of 10 on everything, so that you know what we can go for. And some of the reviews aren't going to be good, and some of the reviews will be good. Read these floats, I have to say I give them 10 out of 10. As I say, I switched over to them and I haven't looked back. I've spent 2 winters fishing with them, as I say, just purely with that float. Rather than switching between different floats. They're sensitive enough when you need it, as well as being visual enough and buoyant enough when you need them out in deep water. So from my point of view, I've got to give it a 10 out of 10. As I say, we'll mark everything out of 10 and then it gives you some idea as to where we go for. None of the stuff we review are we sponsored by anybody. They're just purely our personal views, so there isn't any sort of bias from that aspect. And as they always say on these things, other brands are available, but I think it's good to give our opinions on it, and somebody else looking at it might think, oh, I'll give that a bash, and so on and so forth. So yeah, Pike Pro, go for the large, 10 out of 10.